Good morning. On this Wednesday, we've got tons to get to, including the council roundup in the 7 o'clock hour. Somewhat of a short meeting, but some good debate had on important issues, including energy, pensions, and your tax dollars. So stay tuned for that. We'll also get to the latest in the ComEd 4 case, where you've got 4 individuals facing corruption charges, more evidence out, and a little bit of reaction from the State House. We'll get to that as well. But also a State House roundup where there were about 1,500 people outside the Capitol protesting on either side of the issue of abortion. But up next, we'll talk about some updates to state-level cases and a federal-level case against Illinois' gun ban. That's all on the way here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, now 6:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Springfield City Council met yesterday and postponed a vote on the ordinance to provide $18 million in TIF funds for the renovation of the Wyndham City Center. Ryan McCready of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance tells WMAY that aldermen want more information on the subject. That would push a final vote until after the upcoming city election. The next city council meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 5th. It's a holiday that has become linked with driving under the influence in recent years, but a Sangamon County Sheriff's Enforcement Detail for St. Patrick's Day did not produce any DUI citations. However, the Sheriff's Office says deputies issued 17 seatbelt citations, 5 tickets for distracted driving, and 7 speeding tickets. The Sheriff's Office joined with other state and local law enforcement agencies to take part in the federally funded traffic safety enforcement effort. Hundreds of anti-abortion demonstrators rallied in Springfield yesterday in the first big local Right to Life march since the Roe against Wade decision was overturned last year. Springfield Catholic Bishop Thomas John Paprocki was one of the featured speakers at the state capitol event, which was part celebration over the decision overturning a constitutional right to abortion and part protest against continued efforts to preserve and expand abortion access in Illinois. A counter-protest by pro-choice groups was also held across the street from the Capitol. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his counterparts in 20 other states and the District of Columbia are urging Hyundai and its subsidiary Kia to step up efforts to help prevent thefts of their vehicles. Many Kia and Hyundai vehicles from model years 2010 to 2021 did not come with anti-theft immobilizers. The companies recently announced an effort to upgrade the software in those vehicles to address the problem, but Raoul and the other AGs say the plan is insufficient. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
Going with SMTD has never been easier.
With the new Go SMTD mobile app available for Apple and Android devices.
Now there's no need to carry cash or worry about losing your pass.
Purchase rides and passes on the go with your debit or credit card.
When you board, simply activate your fare on your device and then scan your phone screen at the fare box.
Get the new Go SMTD mobile app today.
Learn more at smtd.org.
Misty Buscher is the first candidate for mayor to ever be jointly endorsed by the Police and Firefighters Associations. And this is what they say. She will work to increase recruiting so we aren't continually short 25 to 30 officers. She will institute a long-term purchasing plan so vehicles don't age out at the same time. She will increase neighborhood police officers so there are more than 5 for our whole community.
I'm Misty Buscher, and I'll work every day to make our neighborhoods safer.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Buscher.
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
No prep, no scope, no more excuses. The safe and easy way to screen for colon cancer. Memorial Health, SIU Medicine, Springfield Clinic, and the Regional Cancer Partnership are coming together to give away free at-home colorectal cancer screening kits during the month of March. If you have one of the colon cancer risk factors, 45 or older, a family history, overweight, or smoke or drink heavily, be sure to pick up a kit. Call 217-788-4400 for pickup dates and locations in your community. Remember, a screening may detect a problem, even if you don't have symptoms.
92.7 WMAY.
Springfield's News and Talk.
The Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of showers all day and through the overnight with a high near 61. Tomorrow, showers likely and breezy with a high near 61, low around 52. Friday, more light rain all day and all night with a high near 49. Saturday, morning showers and breezy with a high near 50, and Sunday partly sunny with a high near 56 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
This is the Crime Stoppers Crime of the Week, sponsored by Barcom Security.
I'm Officer Drew Zabados, Crime Stoppers Coordinator for Sangamon and Menard counties. This week, Crime Stoppers wants to make you aware of 2 upcoming fundraisers. The North End Masters will be taking place Saturday, April 8th from noon to 6 p.m. The cost is $15 if you register early or $20 the day of. Crime Stoppers is also starting a Queen of Hearts drawing, with the drawing being every Sunday at Weebles at 7 p.m. Tickets are available for $1 each, and you must be 21 to participate. Tickets will be available for purchase at multiple satellite locations. For more information on the bars participating in both of our upcoming fundraisers, and for more information on how to participate, visit our website at cashfortips.us. If you have any information regarding any crime, call our anonymous tip line at 217-788-8427, submit a tip on our website, or use the P3 app. Information leading to an arrest is eligible for a cash reward up to $2,500. Remember, Crime Stoppers only want your information, not your name.
Catch a criminal, get a reward. Crime Stoppers of Sangamon and Menard County, sponsored by the Springfield office of Barcom Security. BarcomSecurity.com. Have a secure day.
If you have a security system, give this a try. Call them and see what their response time is. Can you talk to a real live person 24 hours a day, even weekends and holidays? Are they prompt to follow up with your service requests? Barcom Security is winning customers by outstanding performance on all of those fronts. Every second counts. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
You could dig a hole in the ground and bury your cash, but that's no way to see your savings grow. Use an INB-CD, and you'll earn a 3.14% annual percentage yield just for keeping your money with us for 13 months. The minimum deposit and balance for this certificate of deposit special is $10,000. For more details, visit INB.com. Apply at any INB branch or on our website. INB, member FDIC.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Federal cases or the state cases against Illinois' gun ban. This is just one particular law in the state of Illinois we've been focused on in the litigation because it is so broad. Now, there's so many other cases, not just in Illinois, especially about the FOID card, for instance, which we'll definitely be looking for updates on that sometime soon. Challenges against the firearm owner identification card being unconstitutional. And you've got other cases across the country as well that very much deal with Second Amendment issues, everything from, certain types of parts to, different types of lists of what is or is not a legal gun to be allowed. These are, of course, all things that very much need focus. But we've been focusing almost exclusively on Illinois' Protect Illinois Communities Act, which was signed January 10th. And again, somebody noting now 72 days in of that bill being enacted into law, a ban on more than 170 different firearms, semi-automatic shotguns, rifles, handguns, and a ban on magazines of more than 15 rounds for handguns and more than 10 rounds for rifles. All of those have not been able to be sold to you, the individual, here in the state of Illinois, unless you are a police officer, retired police officer, jailer, warden in the security space. So you've had all these lawsuits filed. And we've got some updates on various cases, and we'll start with the case that Attorney Thomas DeVore brought, Accuracy Firearms, which is actually the first case that actually had some movement in state court. And if you recall, he got a temporary restraining order in place based off of the issue of equal protection, saying that essentially the equal protection element of your rights was violated whenever the state decided to carve out police allowing them to have access to these firearms, while the regular citizen, who also has a Second Amendment right, does not have that same access. So most recently yesterday, you had on the docket for Accuracy Firearms. And again, this is the case that got that first temporary restraining order in state level court out of Effingham County that the state appealed to the appellate court, and the appellate court upheld the temporary restraining order on the grounds of equal protections. That led to a domino effect of similar cases having temporary restraining orders, 2 now in Effingham County, thousands of people, 1 in White County, again, a DeVore case. And then the 4th case is the Macon County case. That case, separate, is now up in front of the Illinois Supreme Court on appeal. So those are the state level cases. But when it comes to the Accuracy Firearms case, there is an update, kind of a mixed day of sorts yesterday. So let's go ahead and check this out from the docket, and we'll read this from the docket item here. Plaintiffs by Attorney DeVore and Drew, defendants by Vaught, Kincaid, Cunningham, Casper, Bruce, and Casson for Illinois Sheriffs and Chiefs of Police. You've got the Illinois Sheriffs Association there and the Chiefs of Police there to essentially motion to quash a subpoena that DeVore had filed to get information from the Chiefs of Police and the Sheriffs Association on what kind of negotiations there may have been on crafting and ultimately getting this law approved. Now, we know that the Sheriff's Association has filed in federal court to oppose the state's gun ban, but they told us that they don't see it necessary to give over information in the state level case as DeVore is asking for it. But DeVore, he's subpoenaed a substantial amount of information on not just from the sheriffs and from the chiefs of police, but also from the various legislative leaders and even the governor. But here we are with the motion to quash was granted, and that was done on procedural grounds according to this docket order. Now, DeVore, he could file amended subpoenas for the Illinois Sheriffs and the Chiefs of Police Association, 2 separate associations who got that motion to quash granted, so they don't have to reply to the subpoenas. However, DeVore could file for another subpoena. So that's one thing. DeVore is going to have to do a little bit more work on that. But when it comes to a different argument that the state had brought, the state apparently defendants, they had a motion to stay pending any outcome from the Illinois Supreme Court. And the docket order here, it says, for the reasons stated on the record, and this was done remotely, the motion to stay is denied. So this case, Accuracy Firearms, is going to be moving forward in Effingham County. So the state tried to stay it, to not let it go forward, to hold it in place, frozen, while the Illinois Supreme Court deals with what they've got to deal with the Macon County case, and they won't hear that until mid-May. But the Effingham County Accuracy Firearms case, where 3 of DeVore's cases have been combined, that's going to move forward. But DeVore's going to have to take a look at the subpoenas that he issued to the Illinois Sheriff's Association and the Illinois Chiefs of Police Association. All right, let's go and take a look at the federal court, where you've got the 4 consolidated cases in the Southern District, and those cases, of course, have had pleadings back and forth. We've seen the states issue thousands of pages of various evidence, dozens of pages answering, various allegations that the law violates the Second Amendment and so on. But what about the McHenry County case, where the state's attorney there, Patrick Keneally, filed a lawsuit against the bill in McHenry County? Well, if you recall, that case at state level court was actually transferred to federal courts, and the federal court docket last week was actually pretty busy, and I wasn't keeping an eye on this, but if you check this out, you can actually read here that apparently there was a motion from the state to essentially have a final judgment on the ruling, on the pleadings that have been filed. So the state motioned to move this out of state court to federal court, and then in federal court, they're saying, all right, you should just judge this based off the pleadings that have been made thus far. All right, and this is in the Northern District. Well, the judge filing back, and this is on the docket, you can read, the defendants removed this case, then moved for judgment on the pleadings based on the lack of standing. They have now filed a notice of withdrawal of their motion for judgment of the pleadings based on their conclusion that federal courts lack jurisdiction over this case, the case they removed to federal court. So what is it? Do the defendants believe this court has jurisdiction, which is the only basis to remove it here, or do the defendants believe this court lacks jurisdiction because the plaintiffs lack standing? Pick one and prepare to tell the court why. And if the answer is the court lacks jurisdiction, be prepared to tell the court why the case is removed to this court. Please keep Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 11 in mind during this process. Perhaps the judicial recourse is already expanded, could have been avoided had the defendants complied with the court's standing order to remove cases, specifically the unheeded requirements that any action removed to this court within 7 business days. Defense counsel must also file a certification that they have read this standing order. The parties are directed to review the standing order if they have not already done so, including the warnings about summary remands, awards of courts, and sanctions for unnecessary use of the court's time to be paid personally by counsel. That is rather fascinating. So several times in that, the judge has essentially said, the states, you could have saved some time and money having not done these pleadings back and forth, asking for removal, and then now asking for it to be withdrawn, and direct pleadings to be final judgments and so on. But then saying that the costs incurred by the courts could have to come personally out of the pockets of counsel. That's pretty incredible. So a couple of different updates there, right? All last week you had different filings in the McHenry County case that's now in Northern District of federal courts, but also with the Accuracy Firearms case in state court that is proceeding forward despite the state trying to say that they don't have, they want to see this thing put on hold while the Illinois Supreme Court deals with their case. Really incredible stuff. That's why we take every day to look at the different movements of these various cases, because there are a lot of moving pieces. It is Springfield's Morning News, and something we're going to be covering absolutely whenever it's in town, and that is iGold. That's coming up March 29th in Springfield, and you can expect it's going to be a pretty big deal. And I imagine that with the law that's in place and all of the litigation that there is, you're probably going to see a fair amount of people. So iGold, again, March 29th, downtown Springfield. Illinois State Rifle Association's got more information about that and all of the different types of details you need to know. 10:30 is when it starts at the Bank of Springfield Center. That's when the doors open. And then there's typically, traditionally, a march that takes place down the street of Springfield to the Capitol building. So we'll watch how that plays out. All right, stay tuned. We got something else that happened yesterday at the State House, dealt with abortion. We'll hear arguments on both sides of that coming up next here on WMAY. It's now 6:21. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast, where today you've got a high of around 61. It's going to be cloudy with a chance of precipitation, then the low down to 55. Thursday, showers with a high of around 52, and then overnight showers with a low of 39. Friday, showers likely with a high of 49. Saturday, mostly cloudy with a high near 50, and then Sunday, mostly sunny, should be nice with a high near 60 degrees. Right now, it's about 42 degrees at 621 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
If you want a bank safe from anywhere, get the app you can use everywhere. Your money's right in your hand. Nobody loves you like Heartland. Get a loan, pay a bill when you're on the go. Deposit that check right from your phone. Download our app and you can. Nobody loves you like Heartland. We're like a bank, but only better, 'cause you're a member. Bank like you own the place. Heartland Credit Union.
Love your mattress now? Wait till you try it on an adjustable base from Verlo. With just the touch of a button, you can elevate your head and kick up your feet to the most comfortable position imaginable for watching TV, reading, lounging, or whatever. And when you're ready, the adjustable base will turn your mattress back into a really, really comfortable bed. So you get a Verlo night's sleep. Good night.
The Verlo Mattress Mismatch sale is ending soon, so you better hurry. Mismatch on the outside. Same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside that's backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Just put a sheet on it, and the only difference you'll notice is how much you saved. Yep, Mismatch is ending soon. So hurry in now for unbeatable values during the Verlo Mattress Mismatch. It's our biggest sale of the year.
Now at Menards, save big money with the 11% off everything. Transform your home with a new garage door from Ideal Door at Menards. We have the largest stock selection in the Midwest with more than 10 different garage doors in stock today. Right now, a 9x7 non-insulated garage door is only $399.99 after 11% rebate. Good through March 26th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
I'm Mayor Jim Langfelder. Since I was elected, the safety of our community is a top priority. As mayor, we've hired 42 police officers last year, the most in 15 years. We implemented ShotSpotter and other technology, aiding in the reduction of violent crime by 40%. As mayor, the Springfield Fire Department achieved Class 1 certification, purchased 9 new fire engines and trucks, and we're building new fire stations. Springfield deserves the best. That's why I'm asking for your vote, Jim Langfelder for mayor on Tuesday, April 4th. Paid for by Citizens for Jim Langfelder.
Hi there. I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
You create phenomenal value for your clients. You offer something extraordinary. Your work is your passion. At Ace Sign Company, we create visual communications that capture the professionalism, purpose, and the extraordinary values of your business. Discover how our team can work with yours to ignite your clients' confidence and strengthen your brand with true inspirational signage. Ace Sign Company, built to inspire. AceSignCo.com.
It's the concert that never was. Radio Gaga, Saturday, March 25th at Route 66 Motorheads. Come experience this spectacular show featuring the likeness and sounds of Lady Gaga and Freddie Mercury of Queen. Don't miss Radio Gaga. One show only. Saturday, March 25th at Route 66 Motorheads. Tickets just $15 in advance or $20 at the door. For more info, check him out on Facebook.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone. Done. By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, head on over to WMAY.com/poll, where you can take today's daily poll. And the question is, let's pull that back up and refresh. What should be the focus of the... Sorry, let's do this. Come on. There we are. What should be the focus for development in downtown Springfield? More residential, more retail, more nightlife, more historic preservation, more parking. Hey, where's the casino question? Looks like most of you say you want more parking. Well, it's still early. Go vote. WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Yesterday in downtown Springfield, there were about 1,500 people marching through the streets. And that's the estimates provided by the Illinois Secretary of State Police. And what was happening was both sides of the debates over abortion were taken to the streets of Springfield. I was there, able to talk with various people. Let's hear first from the counter demonstrators who were there. There were only about, I would say at the time I talked to them, maybe 24 people. It grew a little bit as time progressed, but here are some of those voices that you'll hear, including from Peoria, Heather McMeekin, from Springfield, Shatria Smith, and from, I believe, Swansea, you have Jessica Monsignor, and they talked about what they want to see happen when it comes to abortion access.
We are here today to stand up against the extremist radicalization of our youth by these right-to-life groups that use stochastic terrorism and false narratives and lies against us and our bodies and our sisters, and condemn our women and our children to suffering by encouraging them to learn the tactics of abuse and marginalization. They dehumanize us as human beings already here. They encourage people to hate on us, and then they target us online. Former paramedic and EMS instructor, this is not hyperbole to me. I have lost women patients to suicide because of unwanted and unplanned and even pregnancies that they didn't deserve because they were raped. I have held a murdered baby, murdered after a birth due to a mother not receiving the care that she needed and was just thought that she couldn't be pregnant and became psychotic. I have dealt with those concerns, and these are real, but what is happening here is not just against women, it's against queer folk, it's against gender justice, it's about gender enslavement, and it ends up causing us all.
I am here standing to make sure that I have a right to my own choice and a right to my own bodily autonomy. I should be able to make that decision. I think women the age of 10 that have been taken advantage of by men should have a right to make that choice with their family and their doctor. I don't think other people have the ability to or should have the ability to enslave an entire group of people without a choice. So I'm standing here as the poet laureate. I've done a poem to support it, and that's why I'm here.
I am an 8-year disabled U.S. Navy veteran and a third-generation toxic water registry and victim of the Camp Lejeune toxic water, which killed my grandmother and my mother. Now, veterans and military women like me and trans men that join the military to serve all of the United States, not just Illinois, leave Illinois and go to places like Missouri and Texas, and they do not have the same right to health care. They are dying and suffering and being denied basic liberties and freedoms and rights our own parents had. We won't go back. We fought the Taliban for 20 years. Religious extremists are trying to do the same thing here, not on our watch.
So again, those were some of the counter-demonstrators that were there protesting for more access to abortion. Illinois does already have some of the least restrictions on abortion, and we got rid of parental notification, so minor girls can go and get an abortion without their parents even knowing about it. We have taxpayer-funded abortion. We have what some argue is open-ended abortion, where depending on whether a doctor determines if it's a viable pregnancy or for the health of the mother, they can have an abortion whenever. So there's a lot of different laws that are already in place, removing some restrictions. So the counter demonstrators there just pushing for more access, or at least securing the access they have in this state. But that was again a small crowd of around 24 or so. A much larger crowd, estimated around 1,500, according to Illinois Secretary of State Police, gathered outside of the Lincoln statue. And here you're going to hear from Bishop Thomas John Paprocki, State Representative William Howder, who is an anesthesiologist, a Republican from Morton, also House Minority Leader Tony McCombie from Savannah. I was able to chat with her briefly afterwards, and here's what they had to share yesterday during their time on the abortion debate.
Governor J.B. Pritzker, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, Attorney General Kwame Raoul, Speaker of the House Emmanuel Chris Welch, and Senate President Don Harmon, along with many others in Illinois state government, have unequivocally expressed their unabashed desire to expand abortion rights and make Illinois an abortion-friendly haven. Every year, over 10,000 out-of-state residents now come to Illinois for abortions, often at taxpayer expense. And that number has been increasing dramatically since June of 2022, when Dobbs was decided. In states such as ours, we cannot relax our pro-life efforts now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned. On the contrary, we must step up our struggles to counter the evil forces of death.
Unfortunately, they easily passed a bill allowing just about anyone in healthcare that wants to perform a suction or aspiration abortion to do so, despite the obvious complications that technicians are unable and unqualified to handle. The pro-choice side always says to us, safe, legal, and rare, but in Illinois, the pro-abortion radicals are in control. They make sure abortion is common, celebrated, and unfortunately now moving the laws to make it less safe than ever before. We see in this General Assembly a bill to silence and intimidate pregnancy resource centers. And I'll tell you, pregnancy care centers are the true pro-choice pregnancy centers in Illinois. The pro-choice side should be champions of pregnancy care centers. But look, we know their abortion centers give women one basic choice, while pregnancy care centers give counseling, medical care, diapers, formula, clothing, adoption services, maternal housing, abortion reversal treatments, ultrasound, STI treatment, abortion trauma care for men and women, perinatal grief support, and more importantly, the love of Christ, free to all, without $1 from taxpayers.
Whether it's taxpayer funded, removing parental notification, people are coming from other states to come here. So yeah, it's definitely, it's no longer about choice. And I think like Dr. Howder stated, it's not rare anymore. And that's too bad. There should be other options for young women or women that, are in a position that they feel that they can't have a child. They should be given some help to make better decisions for themselves.
So that is, again, some of the larger crowd there, around 1,500 for the pro-life protesters versus those who were there as pro-choice protesters. Different ways to name them, anti-abortion groups versus, anti-abortion regulation groups or pro-abortion groups. So regardless, a lot of people downtown Springfield figured I'd give you both sides of that with an estimated, 1,500 people downtown, if not more, when you count in the dozens or so that were there as counter-protesters. So that's just some of what happened at the Illinois State House, and we like to bring you the very latest here on WMAY. Coming back, some more of what happened at the State House, including a proposal dealing with parole, and also the stack of different laws that lawmakers are looking to get across the finish line, including in the House with dozens of bills that were passed out of the House yesterday. So we'll touch on that as well. Late for news, it is now 6:37 on WMAY.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, a Virginia man who assaulted police trying to defend the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, has been sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. Jeffrey Sills was convicted of assault with a dangerous weapon, obstruction of Congress, and robbery. Prosecutors say Sills threw several pole-like objects at police, stole a police baton from an officer, and used that baton to repeatedly strike officers. His lawyer said he didn't come to Washington on January 6th with any intention to commit violence. Springfield City Council met yesterday and postponed a vote on the ordinance to provide $18 million in TIF funds for the renovation of the Wyndham City Center. Ryan McGrady of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance tells WMAY that aldermen want more information on the project. That would push a final vote until after the upcoming city election. The next city council meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April the 5th. Sheriff Jack Gamble says deputies were called to a home in Spalding around 8:45 yesterday morning for a report of a man in distress, but the man was not there. Because his location was unknown, Riverton schools were temporarily placed on lockdown. Just after 11 a.m., deputies located the man's vehicle on Springfield's west side, where he was arrested without incident after a 2-hour standoff and taken to Springfield Memorial Hospital for evaluation. The sheriff's office says charges are pending. Hundreds of anti-abortion demonstrators rallied in Springfield yesterday in the first big local Right to Life march since the Roe against Wade decision was overturned last year. Springfield Catholic Bishop Thomas John Paprocki was one of the featured speakers at the state capitol event, which was part celebration over the decision overturning a constitutional right to abortion and part protest against continued efforts to preserve and expand abortion access in Illinois. A counter-protest by pro-choice groups was also held across the street from the Capitol. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his counterparts in 20 other states and the District of Columbia are urging Hyundai and its subsidiary Kia to step up efforts to help prevent thefts of their vehicles. Many Kia and Hyundai vehicles from model years 2010 to 2021 did not come with anti-theft immobilizers. The companies recently announced an effort to upgrade the software in those vehicles to address the problem, but Raoul and the other AGs say the plan is insufficient. Tomorrow will mark the grand opening of the newest exhibit of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum. Here I Have Lived, Home in Illinois, tells the stories of Illinoisans both famous, like Michelle Obama and Richard Pryor, to lesser-known figures like inventor Fred Francis or Harvey Clark, a black man subjected to racial violence when he tried to rent an apartment in Cicero. The exhibit runs through next January and is included in the price of museum admission. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. While a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system, cancer surgery doesn't have to be. Now there's Edge Radiosurgery at HSHS St. John's Cancer Center. Edge technology breaks down tumors non-invasively. No incision or hospital stay required. Now that's the kind of news you want to hear. Learn more about the Edge and our comprehensive cancer treatment plans at st-johns.org/edge. Edge Radiosurgery is not appropriate for all cancers. Serious side effects including fatigue and skin irritation can occur. Treatment times may vary.
Do-it-yourself ordering kiosks now inside Head West mean getting your sub faster.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Hendricks Home Furnishings has always been known for its high-quality furniture. But did you know flooring has been a key part of their business for over 70 years? Family-owned Hendricks Home Furnishings provides their customers with the latest styles and trends, expertise, quality, competitive pricing, and professional installation. Hendricks Home Furnishings, Route 4 in Virden, where you can always talk to the owner.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport, SPI, to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
The Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of showers all day and through the overnight with a high near 61. Tomorrow, showers likely and breezy with a high near 61, low around 52. Friday, more light rain all day and all night with a high near 49. Saturday, morning showers and breezy with a high near 50, and Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 56 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
X with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
X with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Have you been following how the campaign for Springfield City Treasurer has a clear difference in candidate experience?
I have been, and have been very impressed by the current Deputy Treasurer, Colleen Redpath-Feger. She's actually been investing the city's funds with a proven successful track record of positive returns for us taxpayers.
You can't say the same for Bill McCarty. As budget director, his experience has been scheming to tax and spend more of our hard-earned tax dollars.
Not to mention that under McCarty's leadership as budget director, the city has raised taxes and fees multiple times during the last two administrations.
We can't afford a tax and spender like Bill McCarty in the city treasurer's office.
Agreed. That's why I'm voting for Colleen Redpath-Feger. Her experience working in the city treasurer's office will guaranteed continue positive returns for all of Springfield.
Learn more before you vote on April 4th.
This message is paid for and approved by Citizens for New Leadership.
I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute. It's one thing to travel to a new city. It's another thing to travel within it. Now, more and more cities have expanded their available bike paths, not just for locals, but for visitors as well. And which are the most bike-friendly cities in the world? The latest rankings are out, and researchers considered everything from the number of days of suitable weather, crime and safety, and renting stations. Number one city for biking? It's Utrecht in the Netherlands, followed by Münster in Germany. In third place, Antwerp, Belgium. You'll also find biking the way to go in cities like Amsterdam and London. But what about the U.S.? It doesn't even break the top 20. San Francisco comes in at 39th place, followed by Portland and Seattle. For more information, visit petergreenberg.com. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is today's Ion Travel Minute.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. Visit libertymutual.com to learn more. libertymutual.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Tons going on at the Illinois State House this week as lawmakers from both chambers are back in session. A lot of activity in the Illinois House. Of course, they've got bills that are up for third reading, which is final passage in the House before they can go over to the Illinois Senate. So let's just take a look here. And again, I showed you how you can find this by going to the Illinois General Assembly website, ilga.gov. So a lot of you out there are getting more and more interested in what happens with state government. I'll tell you, even me getting paid to cover this, it's a meat grinder, and it's how the sausage is made. And you've got long days and a bunch of hurry up and waiting, and they don't start on time for committees. Sometimes they're an hour and a half late to start on committees, and then scheduled time is that they're going to be in session at noon, but they don't actually start until 1:45. So yeah, it can be tough for the taxpayer out there to actually keep track of this. But at least I get paid to do it, so I can bring you that information. But if you ever have a few moments of free time, you want to see what they did the day previous, you can go to ilga.gov, and then you click underneath Reports and Inquiries, Legislative Reports. There you will be taken to a page that gives you all kinds of different reports you can run. You can do categorized reports, inquiry reports. I'm more interested in the dates inquiry reports, and we're going to drop down and make that the 21st, which was yesterday. And no bills passed out of the Senate. If you click on that, you'll see that there's no information there. But it was where the House, they had a lot of action. So bills passed the House. Then you go over and check your tab, and you've got a total of 41 bills that passed the House. All right, so they total that up for you all the way at the bottom of the page there. But looking at some of the things, at least that as somebody who gleans this stuff quickly, I look for where there wasn't unanimous support, right? Because hey, telling stories, you look at where there's conflict. So for instance, right off the bat, pronoun references. Lakeisha Collins had a bill that passed 72 to 37, House Bill 1596. If you click through and find that, the synopsis looks like it changes a bunch of different state statutes, and that's a lot of state statutes. My gosh. Essentially, I guess what this does is it goes through and it works towards degendering things. So it amends various acts concerning children by replacing certain pronouns with the nouns to which the pronouns refer, replacing certain instances of the word biological, changing the independent juvenile ombudsman to the independent juvenile ombudsperson, deleting certain obsolete language, and making technical changes. There was a amendment that changes boys and girls to children rather than minors in one location. So again, that passed, but it was apparently controversial enough to where it was 72 to 37. You then look through, and another bill that was controversial, 72 to 39. Another bill dealing with gender-inclusive data reports. So interesting to see those bills ultimately advancing. Then you've got other bills. One here, EPA disposable food containers. This one passed, and that deals with getting rid of single-use plastics, essentially. It amends the EPA Act, and it defines terms, provides that beginning January 1st of 2025, a retail establishment may not sell or distribute in the state a disposable food service container that is composed in part of polystyrene foam, which is styrofoam. So yeah, you've got that passing the House. Now, this is just passage in the House. These things still have to go over to the Senate, be heard in committee, have another bite at the apple. The Senate takes it up, or they could choose not to take it up, and then the bill just stays flat for a while. But we're still early in this session, and there's a lot more things to be had. But looking again at just the 40-plus bills, another bill that they had that was controversial deals with higher ed human service loan repayments. You've got another one here, and I'm just gleaning this for the first time, so I apologize. Pregnancy Expenses Act. We were just talking about the abortion issue. And this bill, it looks to essentially allow for a split 50% for the pregnant person and the other person in the relationship there to cover the costs for the pregnancy, and that could include abortion as well. An interesting debate there on the House floor yesterday on that bill. Also, you've got a bill dealing with a suburban airport and plans to have IDOT lay out those plans and take some bids. So that passed 72 to 40 as well. So again, you can see just some of the things they're doing. 40-plus bills passed the House bills that are now queued up to be sent to the Senate. But also at the State House, they had a discussion about parole. We'll talk about that next here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. Now 6:51 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
John, you remember what you were doing, say, about 10 years ago?
About as good as recalling what happened last week.
Right. Well, if you purchase, say, a dishwasher at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World 9 years and 364 days ago, it'd still be covered.
By the famous 10-year protection plan, of course.
Well, it's included with most purchases at Dick Van Dyke. And according to one Google reviewer, they still had unmatched prices and helpful people who delivered and set up the appliances without hassle.
The review mentions that they shopped around, did the comparison, and still found the best value at Dick Van Dyke.
So can you really not recall what you did last week?
Can you?
Now that I think of it, not really.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases, and we still beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Love your mattress now? Wait till you try it on an adjustable base from Verlo. With just the touch of a button, you can elevate your head and kick up your feet to the most comfortable position imaginable for watching TV, reading, lounging, or whatever. And when you're ready, the adjustable base will turn your mattress back into a really, really comfortable bed. So you get a Verlo night's sleep. Good night.
The Verlo Mattress Mismatch sale is ending soon, so you better hurry. Mismatch on the outside. Same Verlo long-lasting craftsmanship on the inside that's backed by our lifetime comfort guarantee. Just put a sheet on it, and the only difference you'll notice is how much you saved. Yep, Mismatch is ending soon. So hurry in now for unbeatable values during the Verlo Mattress Mismatch. It's our biggest sale of the year.
I'm Mayor Jim Langfelder. Since I was elected, the safety of our community is a top priority. As mayor, we've hired 42 police officers last year, the most in 15 years. We implemented ShotSpotter and other technology, aiding in the reduction of violent crime by 40%. As mayor, the Springfield Fire Department achieved Class 1 certification, purchased 9 new fire engines and trucks, and we're building new fire stations. Springfield deserves the best. That's why I'm asking for your vote, Jim Langfelder for mayor on Tuesday, April 4th. Paid for by Citizens for Jim Langfelder.
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
Reviewing some of the stuff happening yesterday at the Illinois State House. Sometimes it's not just about what passes one chamber or the other. It's also about what's being proposed. And a proposal yesterday deals with modifying bail. And this is a proposal coming from members of the Legislative Black Caucus that would allow individuals in Illinois prisons to earn parole regardless of the crime. State Representative Justin Slaughter and State Representative Carol Ammons proposed this yesterday. And here is Justin Slaughter talking a bit about what his proposal does.
Illinois' prison population is an increasing percentage of persons who are growing old with no opportunity for early release, no matter how rehabilitated they are.
And then you have State Representative Carol Ammons having a separate bill that she says would actually bring about all kinds of different types of savings for the state's taxpayers by allowing for certain conditional release and allowing for, again, certain types of things to have people get out.
It saves money. It looks at people based on their merit and what they have done while they were incarcerated. It gives them an opportunity to have some hope.
So that is, of course, two members of the Legislative Black Caucus looking to change parole. I talked briefly with State Senator Jason Plummer, who had some initial questions about the effectiveness of this when it comes to safety in Illinois communities.
Yeah, actually, we've made a lot of progress here. I think that we've been able to highlight the ludicrous decisions that the administration has made the last few years, and they're starting to recognize, I think, the errors in their ways. This isn't about a simple decision. This is a complex set of facts, and the reality is we need to prioritize victims, victim families, law enforcement, and most importantly, public safety. Because at the end of the day, we're here to make sure the public is safe. And the governor's been making decisions that have made the public less safe.
So when it comes to the ideas, though, of possibly saving money by letting people out early, Plummer says that, listen, he's conservative, he's about saving money, but it's about safety, really.
Absolutely. We should be about saving money, but I don't think dollars are more important than people's lives. I think that we have to make sure that we protect our communities. And I think that it's a very elementary mathematics to say that this saves money when we know that the people that are being released often end up committing more crimes, end up back in the judicial system, and end up back behind bars. So I don't think it's a matter of saving money. This is a matter of trying to do an end run around law enforcement. And what we need to do is we need to stand up for our families and communities.
And Plummer was also critical of just the overall idea of people getting out for any crime, just simply based on good time they've served, while you've got the Safety Act still being debated in front of the Illinois Supreme Court in cashless bail. All of these things, of course, being debated at the Illinois State House. It's now 7 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. A Florida judge determining that the special counsel investigating the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case has preliminary evidence that Donald Trump may have broken the law. ABC's Jacqueline Lee with details.
Sources tell ABC News the federal judge ruled there is compelling preliminary evidence proving Trump knowingly misled his attorneys so they would file a sworn statement, even though he knew it was false. Because of the alleged deception, the judge ruled to revoke attorney-client privilege for Trump's legal team, meaning his lawyers will have to hand over records connected to the case, including notes, invoices, and transcriptions of audio recordings.
In the other imminent legal case involving the former president, a Manhattan grand jury is back together today, deciding on criminal charges in the Stormy Daniels hush money investigation.
And that 23-member panel reconvenes today on what could be the final day of deliberations, but frankly, we don't know what's going to happen today. They could call for additional witnesses. They could call to see some evidence they've already seen, or will they finally take a vote?
ABC's Derek Waller in New York. Prosecutors in Virginia releasing video of the chain of events that led to 28-year-old Ivo Otinio's death in a psychiatric hospital earlier this month. Prosecutors say there was a struggle and he was smothered by sheriff's deputies and hospital workers. ABC's Pierre Thomas.
They took 3.5 hours to call the Virginia State Police to investigate, and prosecutors say there was also a significant period of time between when Otieno died when someone called 911. Prosecutors says was too late.
All 10 suspects were formally indicted on charges of second-degree murder, and we're now getting a sense of the defense for some. One of the attorneys saying that his client did nothing to stop that young man from breathing, only holding his legs.
The Fed wrapping up its two-day meeting with a decision later today on interest rate hikes. This is ABC News.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please.
All right, this hour we've got the council roundup, a review of last night's Springfield City Council meeting. We're expecting it to be a long one, with the idea of possible debt forgiveness being brought back up, while they also debated the plans for the Wyndham City Center. So they did not do that. They actually pushed those things off, which is likely something going to be happening either on election day or after the election. Interesting. So stay tuned. We got other stuff to tackle, though, from last night's Springfield City Council meeting. It's all right here on WMAY with the Council Roundup. I'm Greg Bishop. Much more on the way. Stay tuned. 7:03.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story. Tomorrow will mark the grand opening of the newest exhibit at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum. Here I Have Lived, Home in Illinois, tells the stories of Illinoisans both famous like Michelle Obama and Richard Pryor, to lesser-known figures like inventor Fred Francis or Harvey Clark, a black man subjected to racial violence when he tried to rent an apartment in Cicero. The exhibit runs through next January and is included in the price of museum admission. Springfield City Council met yesterday and postponed a vote on the ordinance to provide $18 million in TIF funds for the renovation of the Wyndham City Center. Ryan McGrady of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance tells WMAY that aldermen want more information on the project. That would push a final vote until after the upcoming city election. The next city council meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April the 5th. A wolverine will once again become part of the animal lineup at Henson Robinson Zoo. Zoo officials say wolverines are rare in a zoo setting, and Henson Robinson Zoo is one of only a handful to have one on display years ago. It's the most commonly requested animal by visitors to the zoo, so the zoo has now acquired a Eurasian wolverine named Olive, which was born in the Alaska Zoo. The zoo opens for the season April 1st, with daily hours from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sheriff Jack Gamble says deputies were called to a home in Spalding around 8:45 yesterday morning for a report of a man in distress, but the man was not there. Because his location was unknown, Riverton schools were temporarily placed on lockdown. Just after 11 a.m., deputies located the man's vehicle on Springfield's west side, where he was arrested without incident after a 2-hour standoff and taken to Springfield Memorial Hospital for evaluation. The sheriff's office says charges are pending. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
News sponsored by CBD Botanicals. Visit CBD Botanicals in Springfield and Edwardsville. Online at cbdbotanicals.com.
This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager for Midwest Family Springfield. Are you the one person I'm looking for to help further build our media sales team at Midwest Family Springfield? We are the premier multimedia marketing company that no other company compares to in the Springfield area. It's really simple. I need one sales leader, a brand ambassador whose talent and team focus will thrive working with Midwest Family. Are you passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive? Are you an overachiever, a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have the skill set for today's digital marketing? And do you believe in growing lasting partnerships? If so, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, you'll be challenged, you'll be trained, and you'll have access to world-class tools like HubSpot CRM. Are you the one I'm looking for? If so, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Order your sub from the new Head West in-store kiosks, and you get a free brownie. Free brownie.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Owning a business not only means trying to turn a profit, it also means providing safety. In an emergency, Barcom Security provides you with one-button lockdown to keep intruders out and everyone inside safe. For 47 years, businesses like Henson Robinson, Wagner Chiropractic and Wellness Center, major trauma hospitals, military bases, and many more all trust Barcom Security. Contact the Springfield office of Barcom Security for a free estimate and have a secure day.
Listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. Alexa, play WMAY 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
The Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of showers all day and through the overnight with a high near 61. Tomorrow, showers likely and breezy with a high near 61, low around 52. Friday, more light rain all day and all night with a high near 49. Saturday, morning showers and breezy with a high near 50. And Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 56 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Hi, this is Judy. As a real Springfield resident and voter, I am disgusted with the latest false and misleading attack on City Treasurer candidate Bill McCarty. To make matters worse, his opponent is hiding behind a shady political action committee to do the dirty work. Do they really think Springfield voters are that dumb? Us voters know only city council members can raise taxes. Voters also know, as city budget director, Bill McCarty helped lead the effort to bring the city back from virtual bankruptcy after the Great Recession. Back then, the city's reserves got all the way down to just $2.6 million. Today, after Bill's 12 years on the job, those reserves are a record $60 million. That sure doesn't sound like someone wasting our money. Don't fall for slimy Chicago-style politics. Vote for the only candidate with the knowledge and experience to take the city treasurer's office to a whole new level. On April 4th, remember to bank on Bill McCarty for city treasurer.
Paid for by Citizens for McCarty.
Hello, everybody. It's Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving. And we want to thank you for voting us #1 Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Now, is that driveway of yours a sloppy, muddy mess? Is your driveway becoming a nuisance? Are you getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe your driveway is soft and it's unfunctional. Well, call the day and get on the schedule to get your driveway back to looking good, and you'll feel great about it. ILPaving.com! ILPaving.com.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections, Springfield to Dallas to anywhere. The Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport remains open for you. Your hometown airport is committed to providing a safe, clean, and healthy travel experience. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next American Airlines flight from SPI at AA.com. Fly local, fly SPI.
Take the easy way out.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
It's that time. What time is it? Well, you know what time it is. Come on. It's Wednesday, 7 o'clock. It's time for the Council Roundup. Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And the Council Roundup is brought to you each and every Wednesday by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. Their downtown location open for lunch. And they're also open for lunch on Saturdays. Don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. All right, let's get on into it. Last night's Springfield City Council meeting, thought it was going to be a long one, but it ended up being actually about an hour and a half. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and get on into it as you've got the City Council chambers ready to tackle business, including zoning. When I heard zoning was on the docket, I thought, oh boy, it's going to be a long one. But they talked about a couple of those light-up signs. You know these signs that flash, hey, we're open these hours, or there's an American flag kind of waving and whatnot. Alderman Ralph Hanauer, after one proposal was brought forward and approved and another one was coming up, he went ahead and chimed in that it's probably time to just reevaluate the issue of these signs altogether.
We ought to look into changing some of our zoning rules for these lighted signs so that they don't have to come through. We've had a lot of, I can't think of one that's been stopped, and I haven't had any complaints about any. So I just think we kind of need to look and see what other cities are doing so that we can maybe get up to, the current century, and maybe it'll save a lot of people some work. So I'd like to see that happen here in the future.
So, maybe instead of having the zoning have to push these through all the time, maybe have some changes to where they don't have to do as much work. That'll be interesting to see if that ultimately plays out that way. Alderman McMiniman opposed to these types of signs.
This is close to another high-traffic accident area at the corner of Chatham Road and Wabash. And so I'm going to stick with my historical voting pattern and not be a yes vote on this. But to save time, this council tends to go along with these requests for these kinds of illuminated digital signs that can change 8 to 10 seconds. So I'm not going to waste the council's time. If somebody wants to make a motion on this or hold it for the next alderman that sits in this chair.
And somebody ultimately did make that motion, and they went ahead and approved that one as well. So zoning, went a little bit quicker than I thought it would, which let us get right into city business. And what better city business to start with than how much money is in the city's coffers? How much of your tax dollars are in the city's coffers? Let's go ahead and hear from the mayor introducing his rival in the election that's just in a couple of weeks here, Treasurer Misty Busher.
The chair recognizes Treasurer Busher for the presentation of the financial report.
Thank you, Mayor Langfelder. The corporate fund had a beginning balance in the month of February of $64,164,513. We took in total receipts of $17,701,131. We had total disbursements in the month of February of $11,433,370, which left the corporate fund with an ending balance of $70,432,274. Of that ending balance, the ARPA fund balance remaining, Mayor Langfelder, is $22,151,813. This concludes my report, Mayor Langfelder.
$70 million. That's a substantial amount of money. And we heard a couple of weeks ago when the treasurer's report was offered, Alderman McMiniman kind of reflect back on just where we've come from. And trust me, I've watched city council now for 12, 13, 14 years or so. And I remember when they had negative cash balances. So going from that to $70 million is rather incredible. But McMiniman, he went a little bit deeper in his kind of review of what happened. Here he is laying out some of his thoughts.
April of 2010, we had a negative $10 million cash balance. So how did we pay our bills back then? Well, we had lines of credit with our local banks to make payroll and that kind of thing. So it just shows where we've come from and where we are now and how bad it used to be. So we're in a good position now. When Mayor Houston came in, he had this mess on his hands. He basically said the city was in effect insolvent, and our utility was in the same kind of bad shape.
McMiniman talked about the severe mess he says we were in, and
one of the reasons was that we had back then, our then Mayor Davlin had entered into 5-year contracts with our police and fire, paying 4% a year for 5 years. So that's on a compounded basis, that was $22 million, 22% raise over the course of those 5 years. So what happened was, when we went into a recession, the sales tax dropped.
Yeah.
But the payroll increases continued at the rate of 4% a year.
So again, Alderman McMiniman just giving a bit of history, and I remember watching all of that, where a lot of discussion about compounded COLAs and for police and fire getting, these in retirement annual compounded increases that were really based off of, after 9/11. There were a lot of pension sweeteners that were put into place to help out first responders, and I don't think people back then realized that all those pension sweeteners could really get expensive after several years, and could even be more expensive if the bottom drops out of the economy, as we had in 2007 and 2008 into 2009. So that's where McMiniman's kind of talking about how the compounded 5-year raises and 22%, and just how that feeds into the overall pension burden. But then he said that was compounded even further by some actions that were happening back 15 years ago or so, and that was pension spiking.
So that if they retired during the period of time when that spike was taking place, their pension would be increased by 5%. Why does that happen? Because under the state statutes, your final rate of pay for police and fire is what controls your pension calculation. It's not like in the military where you got to be in, they average out the last 5 years of your pay and come up with an average amount, or school teachers or others. With police and fire, it's just you get a promotion on your last day of pay. That's what they use to calculate your pension.
So McMiniman, again, going into a bit of minutia and reacting to where we came from with the negative cash funds to $70+ million in the city's coffers. But he's talking about the history of the pension funds driving a lot of spending, because there's no question pension debt is driving tax spending. It's taking up all of, if not more, the city's share of property taxes for the police and fire pensions. But ultimately, McMiniman making his final point here, and then he works in some politics.
Last time I counted, we've got over, I think it's 50 retired police and fire now that are making over $100,000 a year with their pension. And interestingly enough, the very first of the police and fire individuals that retired from city government to get over the $100,000 mark was former police chief Caldwell. And he was working for, some of you that have been reading the SJR forever remember this. He got an 8% spike right before he left office from a mayor that at the time was waving the flag, we got to turn around these pension abuses. So basically, I'm saying, be careful when elected officials get too close to police and fire. Be careful. And so,
paid for by.
That's right, because these are last words. And thank you for paying attention. Thanks a lot.
Paid for by, I think it was Alderman Redpath who said that. So, again, we've got an election for city council and the mayor in just, less than 2 weeks now, where Treasurer Misty Buscher has the support of the police and fire union, and McMiniman, who supports the incumbent Mayor Langfelder, seeming to issue a warning of sorts to be cautious of certain candidates that might be close with the police and fire pension union or the police and fire unions, using the history of recent pension issues as why to be careful. So interesting to hear that. So he took a lot of time to get to that point, but he saved us some time. Next, we'll hear how. Stay tuned. It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. It's now 7:20 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
What's the best thing to do with your money during uncertain times? Financial experts agree products like certificates of deposit and money market accounts can be a safe haven from a bumpy economy. At Warren Boynton State Bank, we've been helping people find ways for their money to make money for 145 years. Certificates of deposit, or CDs, give you a guaranteed return on your money. Money market accounts are a way to let your money earn higher interest with the flexibility of a checking account. These are just two options we have at Warren Boynton, each designed to give your money security, and they just might help you sleep better at night. At Warren Boynton, you can say we've seen a few things over the years. A lot has happened since we opened our doors in 1877, but no matter what was going on in the rest of the world, we've stood by folks in Central Illinois. A little extra confidence during challenging economic times. Warren Boynton State Bank, WBSB.net, member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
All right, so they've got a lot of construction going on, and the crew from Green Hyundai has a construction sale, a clearance sale. Mike, tell us about the construction clearance sale with Green Hyundai. Good morning.
That's right, Greg. Hey, we're only months away from finishing up this brand new Hyundai store on Stanford Avenue. I know you've all seen it. It's right there next to Darcy's Pint. It's gigantic. And we're, of course, still on Dirksen and will be on Dirksen, but we've got all this inventory that we've got to sell these new Hyundais because Hyundai's going to give us hundreds and hundreds of extra Hyundais as we move into this new store, and there just won't be room, and we were going to have to move these along quicker. So we've opened up 0% through Hyundai Motor Finance with the help of them to move these cars out of here with approved credit. And, of course, they're backed up by the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, America's best warranty, and 3 years free maintenance. So there's a perfect package, and they're priced right, and we're going to move them. So come on out and see us. Yeah, that's on Dirksen in front of J.C. Penney's. It's the construction clearance sale going on at 1200 South Dirksen, directly in front of good old J.C. Penney's for your car dealer, Green Hyundai.
Mike Quimby, Green Hyundai, have a great day.
This is Jim over at CBD Botanicals. You know, one of the things we pride ourselves on is always being ahead of the curve in this industry. If there's a new cannabinoid that comes out, we want to be the first to bring it to you. And very often, we're the first in the region to bring it to you because we follow up on all the research and we follow up on all the new products coming through. What I really enjoy, though, is having people come in and looking at our offerings and having my staff, Christina and Ollie and myself, and we get to talk about all the new stuff that we're bringing to the market. So I strongly encourage everybody, check us out on Facebook, check us out on Instagram, be part of our email list so we can tell you when the new stuff is coming, because you never know. You can walk in one day and see something and then walk in another week and see something completely new, and we just thoroughly enjoy that. Every time we bring out something new to encourage you, we do a buy one, get one 42.0% off, just to encourage you to try new things every time you come in. CBD Botanicals at 2538 South Cokie Mill Road at the corner of Cokie Mill and Isles, next to Walgreens in the Fresenius building.
Greetings, hard-working Springfieldians. It's your friendly neighborhood Lauterbach man here. And if you don't mind me saying, you have a silly job. I know it's silly because you're not working for me, the Lauterbach man at Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. Imagine going to cocktail parties and saying, I work for the biggest man in town. Well, we're hiring, looking for smart service people and talented techs. You know that job you have that makes you work on weekends? Not here, my friend. We want our folks to enjoy themselves on the weekends and then come in refreshed, ready to make Springfield cars run great. Fantastic benefits, a nice juicy paycheck, and lots of ways to advance. Why, we have fellas who have worked here for over a decade. It's a fine family business if I do say so myself, so leave that silly job and come work someplace less silly. Except, you know, for the giant outside. Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. Drive safely and come work for us now.
Less frustration, more vacation. Book a nonstop flight from Springfield's Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport, SPI, to Fort Myers, Punta Gorda at Allegiant.com and experience the sun, fun, and relaxation of Southwest Florida. Find low fares and save big by bundling at Allegiant.com. Fly from SPI and spend more time enjoying vacation. Book your flight from SPI at Allegiant.com. Fly local. Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Take the easy way out.
I'm Mayor Jim Langfelder. Since I was elected, the safety of our community is a top priority. As mayor, we've hired 42 police officers last year, the most in 15 years. We implemented ShotSpotter and other technology, aiding in the reduction of violent crime by 40%. As mayor, the Springfield Fire Department achieved Class 1 certification, purchased 9 new fire engines and trucks, and we're building new fire stations. Springfield deserves the best. That's why I'm asking for your vote, Jim Langfelder for mayor on Tuesday, April 4th. Paid for by Citizens for Jim Langfelder.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Head on over to WMAY.com/poll, where you can take the daily poll, and it asks a question about downtown Springfield. And what do you want to see the focus to be? Should they focus on more residential, more retail, more nightlife, more historic preservation, more parking? Earlier this morning, most of you said more parking, which was, there's plenty of parking downtown, people. Come on. You just got to walk like half a block or two. More retail is what they're looking at. 66% say that. What about the option for a casino? It's worth a debate. Obviously, not having that one today with the daily poll, but you can sound off on other things. Again, WMAY.com/poll.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
Back with the Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. And don't forget about delivery, Head West Subs. So last night, Alderman Joe McMiniman, who is termed out, he is not going to be back after the elections and the new city council is seated sometime in May. But he's definitely leaving some food for thought, talked a lot about pensions, spent a good chunk about the history of police and fire pensions, and then even working in the election coming up. But he saved us some time last night by going ahead and saying, you know what, there's a pretty big controversial ordinance dealing with debt forgiveness, and there's also a pretty big controversial ordinance dealing with a lot of TIF dollars, $18+ million, that could go to the Wyndham City Center for a new project they're hoping to get back in front of the city council. There's expected to be tons of debate on that, but we didn't get that last night.
Because we're holding another ordinance that has to do with Wyndham, and there may be some discussion back and forth regarding the debt that Wyndham was able to receive, that we ought to hold this ordinance that Alderman Gregory and I and Mr. Mayor, you brought to the council for consideration.
Show that that measure being held in committee alongside the debt forgiveness measure that's also going to be held in committee. So they went ahead and held those, which saves us a bit of time. But you had other things come up last night, including questions about a contract and just how much this contract is going to Public Works for a contractor to have money to do this contract. Well, Alderman Redpath had some questions about the contract.
I got a letter from a guy who made a bid on the concrete contract. His name it's from Hard Surfacing Inc. He said he was disqualified from the bid process because he did not own a commercial building. Is that part of the requirements to be able to bid?
And this deals with the local preference, and that local preference does have some particulars. What's considered local preference? An official plus the Corporation Counsel, Jim Zirkle, kind of makes some clear policy statements about what the city's ordinance says about that local preference.
That is not a commercial address, that's a residential address. And under the purchasing code, to qualify as a local preference, a vendor is required to own or lease all or portion of a commercial building for a period of not less than 12 consecutive months prior to the submission of a bid. So I called Mr. Clem and spoke with him, and clearly the property where he operates this company is out of his home, and it's definitely a residential property. And I asked him about, well, where does he keep his equipment? And he told me he has a commercial facility in Decatur. And that he had been trying to sell that and hadn't had any luck in doing that.
So Alderman Redpath had, his answer pretty much there about the local preference. You can't say that you've got a field over in Decatur where the commercial address is, but you also have a commercial address. It's your home address, which isn't a commercial building. It's your home. It doesn't work that way. So that bidder did not get that contract. All right, coming up next, we will finish things up with talk about trash, talk about energy, and talk about parking. And it's all the things you need to know about Springfield City business, where we take care of Springfield City business each and every Wednesday with the Council Roundup here on WMAY. Brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to head west. All right, stay tuned. Much more coming up. Right now, though, 7:31.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, U.S. cases of a dangerous fungus have tripled over the past 3 years, and more than half of states have now reported it. Researchers at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a report on the fungus called Candida auris. It's a form of yeast that is usually not harmful to healthy people, but can be a deadly risk to fragile patients in hospitals and nursing homes. Some strains are so-called superbugs that are resistant to antibiotic drugs. A wolverine will once again become part of the animal lineup at Henson Robinson Zoo. Zoo officials say wolverines are rare in a zoo setting, and Henson Robinson Zoo is one of only a handful to have one on display years ago. It's the most commonly requested animal by visitors to the zoo, so the zoo has now acquired a Eurasian wolverine named Olive, which was born in the Alaska Zoo. The zoo opens for the season April 1st, with daily hours from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. A second Illinois prison guard has been sentenced to 20 years behind bars. 54-year-old Todd Scheffler is the second of 3 employees of the Western Illinois Correctional Center in Mount Sterling to be sentenced in the death of Larry Irvin. The 3 guards assaulted Irvin as he was being transported to a segregation unit while restrained and handcuffed behind his back. Another guard, Alex Banta, received a 20-year sentence last week, and the third defendant, Willie Hedden, will be sentenced today in Springfield. It's a holiday that has become linked with driving under the influence in recent years, but a Sangamon County Sheriff's Enforcement Detail for St. Patrick's Day did not produce any DUI citations. However, the Sheriff's Office says deputies issued 17 seatbelt citations, 5 tickets for distracted driving, and 7 speeding tickets. The Sheriff's Office joined with other state and local law enforcement agencies to take part in the federally funded traffic safety enforcement effort. Tomorrow will mark the grand opening of the newest exhibit of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum. Here I Have Lived, Home in Illinois, tells the stories of Illinoisans both famous, like Michelle Obama and Richard Pryor, to lesser-known figures like inventor Fred Francis or Harvey Clark, a black man subjected to racial violence when he tried to rent an apartment in Cicero. The exhibit runs through next January and is included in the price of museum admission. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his counterparts in 20 other states and the District of Columbia are urging Hyundai and its subsidiary Kia to step up efforts to help prevent thefts of their vehicles. Many Kia and Hyundai vehicles from model years 2010 to 2021 did not come with anti-theft immobilizers. The companies recently announced an effort to upgrade the software in those vehicles to address the problem, but Raoul and the other AGs say the plan is insufficient. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
WMAY News, brought to you by The Inn at 835. Let The Inn at 835 handle your next business or social gathering with style.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hello, everybody. Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving. Your Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Thanks for that. Is your driveway a sloppy, muddy mess? Are you tired of getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe you're sick of all the sloppy mud in the car and in the house. Or maybe you don't want all the garbage rock in your lawn. Well, if so, call Cousin Bill at Illinois Paving. ILPaving.com! ILPaving.com.
Misty Buscher is the first candidate for mayor to ever be jointly endorsed by the Police and Firefighters Associations. And this is what they say. She will work to increase recruiting so we aren't continually short 25 to 30 officers. She will institute a long-term purchasing plan so vehicles don't age out at the same time. She will increase neighborhood police officers so there are more than 5 for our whole community.
I'm Misty Buscher, and I'll work every day to make our neighborhoods safer.
Paid for by Friends of Misty Buscher.
Hendricks Home Furnishings has always been known for its high-quality furniture. But did you know flooring has been a key part of their business for over 70 years? Family-owned Hendricks Home Furnishings provides their customers with the latest styles and trends, expertise, quality, competitive pricing, and professional installation. Hendricks Home Furnishings, Route 4 in Verdon, where you can always talk to the owner.
Hi, it's Taylor Stevens from Synergy Home Care. Catch our business spotlight this afternoon at 5:40 on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Everywhere you are with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of showers all day and through the overnight with a high near 61. Tomorrow, showers likely and breezy with a high near 61, low around 52. Friday, more light rain all day and all night with a high near 49. Saturday, morning showers and breezy with a high near 50. And Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 56 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
What are you hungry for?
Obed and Isaac sounds good.
They're always busy.
Yeah, they are. It's because the food is great. The selection of craft beer is amazing, and it's downtown. It couldn't be in a better location.
What if we have to wait?
We'll put in our name, give them our number to text us when our table is ready, and then go next door to the 7th Street Cidery and start there.
I like the way you think. They serve meads too, right?
Yeah, they do. You can get your mead, and I'll start with a flight of cider. They're constantly getting new ciders on tap all the time.
What if Obed's isn't busy and they seat us right away?
The cidery doesn't close till 11, so we can just finish the night there.
You've got this all figured out, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You should see my reward points that I've built up.
So, you're buying, right?
I didn't say that.
That's what I heard.
No, you didn't.
Obed and Isaac's Microbrewery, located in downtown Springfield, right next door to the 7th Street Cidery. Enjoy.
Have you been following how the campaign for Springfield City Treasurer has a clear difference in candidate experience?
I have been, and have been very impressed by the current Deputy Treasurer, Colleen Redpath-Feger. She's actually been investing the city's funds with a proven successful track record of positive returns for us taxpayers.
You can't say the same for Bill McCarty. As budget director, his experience has been scheming to tax and spend more of our hard-earned tax dollars.
Not to mention that under McCarty's leadership as budget director, the city has raised taxes and fees multiple times during the last two administrations.
We can't afford a tax and spender like Bill McCarty in the city treasurer's office.
Agreed. That's why I'm voting for Colleen Redpath-Feger. Her experience working in the city treasurer's office will guarantee continued positive returns for all of Springfield.
Learn more before you vote on April 4th.
This message is paid for and approved by Citizens for New Leadership.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
And we're back. It's Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch, and they are open for lunch on Saturdays. Don't forget about delivery. Head West Subs. So last night's Springfield City Council meeting, a lot of time shaved off as they held the ordinances dealing with debt and also the ordinance dealing with $18 million in TIF money for the Wyndham City Center. But they did have time for some trash talk. And we'll start off here with the ordinance being announced by the mayor, talking about the trash.
For the purchase of trash and recycling receptacles for downtown's beautification in an amount not to exceed $150,552.
So if you remember several weeks ago, we had a lot of debate, a lot of trash talk happening. One alderman had some problems with how much each individual trash can was going to cost. Alderman Ralph Hanauer now looking back on that, and hey, looks like we saved some money.
First of all, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to vent the last time when we were talking about $2,500 garbage cans. It seems like we've got them down a little bit. I was just going to ask what the total cost per can was. I'm not going to off the
$24.99.
Oh, yeah, $1,107.
Good job, Nate. We saved half.
Good job, Nate.
Saved half.
Are they the same size?
They're approximately the same size, and it's a similar company that's been utilized and is recommended as an alternative, similar to the cans that we have at this time.
I think that the citizens will enjoy those cans just as much as they would have the 2,400. Thank you.
1,700.
Yeah, still some. It wasn't 2,400. It was 1,700, or was it 24.99 per can? So yeah, it looks like they are going to move forward with this, but not without Alderman Williams raising some questions about priorities, and he lays out why he's not going to support this particular ordinance to spend, $100,000+ on trash cans in downtown Springfield.
This council voted against broadband, which is very important for my ward and my community. But we want to buy trash cans. This council voted against a summer youth program to employ these summer youth to cut these lots, to maintain these yards and lots and do things like this. But we want to buy garbage cans. I'm for the beautification of downtown. Actually, I don't think downtown is in that bad of a shape. It's not like we don't have any garbage cans. And I just think if we can't afford to give poor kids broadband services and work on giving residents who don't have broadband services, and we can't afford to give our kids opportunities in the summer because we see help wanted signs for adults and for older workers who won't be cutting the grass and maintaining these lots, then we shouldn't be doing stuff like this with the money. Because we have garbage cans. So I'll be voting a no on this. Thank you.
So that's Alderman Roy Williams. He expressed his concerns there about priorities, and you had Alderman Sean Gregory also share some thoughts about what exactly, he agrees with Alderman Williams. He supports the idea of beautifying downtown and the importance of downtown, but he agrees with Alderman Williams.
These are pressing issues in our community, and we have to stand firm in these choices, so I have to vote no against this.
And Alderman McMiniman, he's chiming in on the importance of having the beautification in downtown Springfield and trying to address some of the concerns raised by Alderman Gregory and Alderman Williams.
I've seen the existing cans in heavy winds. They're lying flat on the ground, garbage coming out of them. And so I think one of the goals with this upgrade of our trash cans is to add some weight to those cans so that they can't blow in the heavy winds.
He also goes on to talk about the importance of downtown and beautification.
We're the state capital, and we want to have a really a beautiful downtown for those that come from miles away to see international and national and in-state visitors that come to see our capital. So I understand those points of views, but I think we got enough money to do the broadband and the beautification downtown.
But Alderman Williams, he went on to express his continued opposition to the idea of spending this much on trash cans, and that opposition was heard pretty loud and clear as they voted no for those trash cans. But it did ultimately pass. So moving on, let's see if we can get this queued up, make sure that we've got this, that, and the other. Here is the mayor talking about an ordinance up for consideration at last night's Springfield City Council meeting.
Yeah, this is for capacity purchase, not wind purchase like the...
And the ordinance deals with a new contract. Here's Mayor Langfelder.
Of all available MISO accredited capacity for 5 years, an amount not to exceed $12,771,360 for the Office of Public Utilities.
So this ordinance is a power contract, and they had an official there from the utility to kind of give a little bit more of an idea.
Yeah, this is for capacity purchase, not wind purchase, like the wind power contract we had before. There is no out clause in this contract. What it is, it's a 5-year guaranteed, 6 years optional.
So some of you may remember when back in the day they did have a multi-year wind power contract, and there were concerns that this is similar to that and we're going to be stuck in that, which was, some argue, not beneficial at all to the city of Springfield. But the difference here is this is a capacity contract, so it's not necessarily, we'll just let others explain it, including the Corporation Council last night at the Springfield City Council meeting.
Hanauer is exactly correct. This is a judgment call because what you're really doing is buying price certainty, because it could drop, but if it goes up $2 or $3 or $4 because we're forced to buy it, we are forced to buy it, then you might have a scenario where instead of $14 million over 6 years, it might be $20 million. So what you're buying in this whole situation is price certainty.
So a little bit of kind of, easy way to understand what exactly this contract does. It's about price certainty. Here's Alderman Ralph Hanauer reacting.
But if we need the power and they're not spinning, they're not generating, what happens?
If they're not generating, that is completely independent.
It's completely
deal. Independent.
Okay.
It's two separate entities of
Right. Thank you.
Energy versus capacity.
Right. Gotcha.
So Alderman Redpath, he also wants to chime in about the importance of this contract.
I've always been against any contract that goes 5 years. It's always a gamble. But in this circumstance, our whole way about doing business with the utilities changed since we have one coal plant now. This contract here, and I agree, is a good option for us. It's going to keep our price, and certainty is exactly the right word. It gives us the opportunity to make sure that we do. It's no different than how we negotiate our coal contracts. And if you remember, one of the most historical things that we did under this council, and the previous council and this council, was lock in that coal price as low as we possibly can. This is what we're doing here. So I would encourage the council to support this. I think it's the right move.
So the Ward 1 Alderman saying that he supports this move to have this particular contract in place, even though it's a long-term contract. Some of the other measures that were brought forward dealt with the fire department getting some new equipment and a variety of other things. But we do have a kind of a funny moment here where the Ward 7 Alderman before we get to that, Joe McMiniman, he revisits the issue of Horace Mann and them getting $600,000 in TIF money to tear down some historic buildings, he says, that could lead to a lawsuit.
We got incorrect information from Horace Mann the first night they came. They said it wasn't within the historic district. We know about that. They said it was not a contributing structure. They were wrong about that. And then the third thing they said to us was there's no viable alternative, basically. But basically, actually what we heard after we denied the request for reconsideration, we did hear a viable alternative from them. And if you remember, this whole situation got started when the legal question was, under the laws of the state of Illinois, are we allowed to spend TIF money to demolish a historic structure? And the answer is no, if there's a viable alternative. And that night we did hear a viable alternative, in my opinion. And so I don't know if we're going to have a lawsuit on our hands or not.
Well, we'll watch that closely to see if indeed there is a potential lawsuit that the city of Springfield will have to go into executive session to discuss, and we'll have to wait a couple of years to get that executive session audio out, so we'll see what happens there. And then finally, Alderman McMiniman with a bit of a funny moment here.
I'm not going to take offense that Chuck Redpath likes to walk out when I begin talking. It's not against the Irish, right?
Hey, I got a 66-year-old prostate, buddy. I got to go all the time.
That's what I mean.
TMI.
All right.
We know what's going on.
Big things for a half second, you guys.
All right, so finish up the meeting with a citizen addressing the council and specifically asked about parking in downtown Springfield. Mayor Jim Langfelder saying, hey, you still don't have to plug those meters.
Yeah, there's still free parking. You have to just abide by the time frame. So if they're 30-minute meters, I think those are yellow. And then the blue ones are for, I believe, an hour.
So when are we going to see people plugging those meters again? Is that going to be announced widely?
Yeah, we haven't made that determination yet. We're working with Downtown Springfield, Inc. And really, I think what's going to drive it is when the state goes back to work. It's all about moving traffic. And right now, there's not the need that there once was.
I think the state's pretty much back at work. I mean, you had a huge rally yesterday, and lawmakers are back in session, and people are back in offices mostly. If you're not back in the office, email me. I'd love to hear about it. bishoponair@gmail.com. That's your Council Roundup, brought to you by Head West Subs. When you want a great sub, you've got to Head West. Their downtown location open for lunch. Don't forget about delivery, Head West Subs. All right, got to take a break. 7:51. We'll get the latest on what happened yesterday at the courthouse in Chicago about the ComEd 4, so stay tuned.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
It's the time of year when the best part of your day might very well be getting out of the weather and getting into your nice, comfortable home. But is your home as comfortable as it could be? It can be with MB Heating and Cooling. First of all, a service agreement with MB Heating and Cooling makes sure that your furnace is working at peak capacity and optimum performance. You save money, you extend the life of your equipment, all at big savings. You can find out more about service agreements at mb-heating.com. But don't forget about the other services MB offers, like a humidifier. As part of your heating system, it would make a huge difference in indoor air quality and comfort. You can ask the team at MB about one when you schedule your service appointment. And maybe it's time for a new furnace all the way around. If your furnace is old and tired and not as efficient as it should be, it's time for a new one. Talk to the folks at MB Heating and Cooling. Again, you can go to mb-heating.com or call 217-544-HEAT, 217-544-4328.
Synergy, home care, care for everyone.
Peace of mind is everything. You know, bringing people into your home is much different than almost any industry, and you want to be careful with who you bring into your home. So part of what we do is we look for those who are doing this line of work for a passion and not a paycheck, because there's absolutely a difference. But part of what we do in the office as well is, you know, we have to look at the caregivers and see what kind of experience they have, so that when we go in the home and we're building that customized plan of care, we can place caregivers there with that specific experience. They're all fingerprinted and background checked as well, so we do check that, and they're all licensed and bonded through us, so everybody's protected. We have a 24-hour line that you can call at any point, and that number is 217-303-8555, or you can look us up online at synergyhomecare.com.
Synergy, home care, care for everyone.
Now at Menards, save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. Update your bathroom with Magic Woods. A brand new Magic Woods vanity is the perfect addition to your bathroom. Magic Woods offers a wide variety of innovative, trend-setting styles to match your vision. All Magic Woods vanities are 11% off. Good through March 26th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Less hassle, more travel. We've got connections. Springfield to Chicago O'Hare to anywhere you need to travel on United Airlines. From your next business trip to your next family vacation, United Airlines can get you there from the Abraham Lincoln Capitol Airport. Security lines are short, parking is always free, and customer service is a top priority. Book your next United Airlines flight from SPI at united.com.
SPI, take the easy way out.
There's nothing cooler than saving lives. Right now, when you donate blood, we'll give you a handy-dandy 20-can Impact Life cooler bag or a $20 gift card voucher to one of our participating businesses. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're still giving you a gift. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash on Chatham Road near Goodwill or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please, give what's in your heart because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I thought learning a language would be too much work, but Babbel makes learning fun. J'aime Babbel.
Babbel's lessons only take 10 or 15 minutes, and soon you turn and realize, hey, I'm starting to speak another language. How'd that happen?
Babbel isn't robots talking. You learn words and phrases from real native speakers. I was ready for real-life conversations in just a few weeks. So easy.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, short segment here as we take a brief look at what's going on at the case involving the ComEd 4 up in Chicago. Now, while there are 4 individuals on trial, that's not Mike Madigan. Mike Madigan's on trial next year, but Mike Madigan's been very much at the center of this case. And if you follow me, you can find the clips that have been released that refer to Madigan as our friend. Here's just some of Mike McLean characterizing Madigan a certain way in a call about former President of the Senate, John Cullerton.
I'm not certain what something would be. But
right. Well, you can put, I mean, you know, you're a street fighter. I mean, I know you got a law degree, but you're more of a street fighter than anybody knows, except for maybe guys like me.
So again, that's Mike McLean talking to Mike Madigan in a recorded conversation from September 5th of 2018 about Cullerton, the former Senate president, setting up some bad things to say about Mike Madigan. And McLean also talking with another individual about how you got to, you know, be really discreet when talking about Madigan.
I think sometimes he gets frustrated because I take some time to accomplish things, but all I ever tell him is, you've never seen my name in a newspaper article.
Right. So are we going to actually see some positive changes from this? I talked briefly with State Representative Wayne Rosenthal. He's been in the legislature once before when Madigan was at the helm. And he says that he hopes that there is going to be some serious changes to come about from what's being unearthed here.
Potentially it could, because when people look at that and they know that gets highlighted, then maybe it changes their way of doing business. And, you know, we won't know for sure for a while, but I think it's got the opportunity to do that.
Rosenthal also saying that he wants to make sure that, you know, people understand that Madigan's always kind of been insulated to a degree by sending out so-called messengers.
I was here before, and it was always, he was always pretty well protected. You know, he always had somebody else looking out for what he was doing, or maybe was the messenger, unintended maybe, but I think people always expected when they were talking to certain individuals that the message was actually coming from Speaker Madigan, but he was never the guy delivering it.
But yesterday in court, they shifted their focus from McLean and started talking more about the deals that were made with ComEd to make the state more favorable towards utilities like ComEd and how Madigan played an integral role in doing that, and former state lawmakers saying that Madigan had ultimate control of the state house. It's 8 o'clock.
The Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville. Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Justin Finch. Security is still tight around the Manhattan DA's office, where a grand jury is reconvening this morning to consider criminal charges against former President Donald Trump in connection with the alleged Stormy Daniels hush money payments. And ABC Chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl says,
sources telling ABC News a federal judge has determined that there's enough compelling preliminary evidence that Trump broke the law in another case, the special counsel's investigation of Trump's handling of classified documents. Judge Beryl Howell's order is sealed, but sources described its contents to ABC News, saying she wrote special counsel Jack Smith provided enough evidence, quote, that the former president had committed criminal violations.
There are several investigations underway against Donald Trump, who has announced he's running for president for a third time. Tame inflation or calm the banking sector? That's what the Federal Reserve is weighing as it wraps up his two-day meeting today.
It had been considered a given that when the Fed adjourns today, it'll announce another interest rate hike as it tries to bring inflation to the 2% target rate. But that was before the failures of Silicon Valley and Signature banks, the buyout of Credit Suisse, and the bailout of First Republic Bank. Now some economists are saying raising the benchmark rate any further may place too much stress on the financial system. Others are saying the central bank will still call for a 0.25% increase.
ABC's Daria Albinger. Soggy California hit by another atmospheric river from San Diego up to the Bay Area. Homes are flooded, trees are down, and some roads have been washed out. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano in Santa Cruz County.
Over 100,000 people without power. The winds have calmed a bit. You can see the rain is still coming down. Might even have some thunderstorms later on today in this very saturated and very battered state.
This is ABC News.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Well, we thought he was going to be arrested yesterday. What about today? Is it going to happen? Apparently not. However, the indication is there could be an indictment of former President Donald Trump with some kind of arrangement to have him turn himself in next week. What do you think about all of this? Love to hear your thoughts. We'll get it in, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. We'll do that next here on WMAY. Right now, though, it's 8:04 and the rain's coming down.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Springfield City Council met yesterday and postponed a vote on the ordinance to provide $18 million in TIF funds for the renovation of the Wyndham City Center. Ryan McCready of the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance tells WMAY that aldermen want more information on the subject. That would push a final vote until after the upcoming city election. The next city council meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, April 5th. It's a holiday that has become linked with driving under the influence in recent years, but a Sangamon County Sheriff's Enforcement Detail for St. Patrick's Day did not produce any DUI citations. However, the Sheriff's Office says deputies issued 17 seatbelt citations, 5 tickets for distracted driving, and 7 speeding tickets. The sheriff's office joined with other state and local law enforcement agencies to take part in the federally funded traffic safety enforcement effort. Hundreds of anti-abortion demonstrators rallied in Springfield yesterday in the first big local Right to Life march since the Roe against Wade decision was overturned last year. Springfield Catholic Bishop Thomas John Paprocki was one of the featured speakers at the state capitol event, which was part celebration over the decision overturning a constitutional right to abortion and part protest against continued efforts to preserve and expand abortion access in Illinois. A counter-protest by pro-choice groups was also held across the street from the Capitol. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul and his counterparts in 20 other states and the District of Columbia are urging Hyundai and its subsidiary Kia to step up efforts to help prevent thefts of their vehicles. Many Kia and Hyundai vehicles from model years 2010 to 2021 did not come with anti-theft immobilizers. The companies recently announced an effort to upgrade the software in those vehicles to address the problem, but Raoul and the other AGs say the plan is insufficient. Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast is next on WMAY.
This is Rob Zavitka, Director of Sales and Business Development Manager for Midwest Family Springfield. Are you the one person I'm looking for to help further build our media sales team at Midwest Family Springfield? We are the premier multimedia marketing company that no other company compares to in the Springfield area. It's really simple. I need one sales leader, a brand ambassador whose talent and team focus will thrive working with Midwest Family. Are you passionate, self-motivated, goal-oriented, and highly competitive? Are you an overachiever, a problem solver with great communication skills? Do you have the skill set for today's digital marketing? And do you believe in growing lasting partnerships? If so, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. At Midwest Family Springfield, you'll be challenged, you'll be trained, and you'll have access to world-class tools like HubSpot CRM. Are you the one I'm looking for? If so, apply online today at MidwestFamilySPI.com and click on the Careers tab. Midwest Family is an equal opportunity employer.
Hello, everybody. It's Cousin Bill with Illinois Paving. And we want to thank you for voting us #1 Reader's Choice Award Paver of the Year. Now, is that driveway of yours a sloppy, muddy mess? Is your driveway becoming a nuisance? Are you getting stuck in your driveway? Maybe your driveway is soft and it's unfunctional. Well, call the day and get on the schedule to get your driveway back to looking good, and you'll feel great about it. ILPaving.com! ILPaving.com.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. While a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system, cancer surgery doesn't have to be. Now there's Edge Radiosurgery at HSHS St. John's Cancer Center. Edge technology breaks down tumors non-invasively. No incision or hospital stay required. Now that's the kind of news you want to hear. Learn more about the Edge and our comprehensive cancer treatment plans at st-johns.org/edge. Edge Radiosurgery is not appropriate for all cancers. Serious side effects including fatigue and skin irritation can occur. Treatment times may vary.
Everywhere you are, everywhere you live, with TuneIn Radio, the WMAY app, or listen at home with your Amazon smart speaker. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
The Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast on WMAY. Chance of showers all day and through the overnight with a high near 61. Tomorrow, showers likely and breezy with a high near 61, low around 52. Friday, more light rain all day and all night with a high near 49. Saturday, morning showers and breezy with a high near 50. And Sunday, partly sunny with a high near 56 degrees. I'm Don Howard, 92.7 WMAY.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Have you been following how the campaign for Springfield City Treasurer has a clear difference in candidate experience?
I have been, and have been very impressed by the current Deputy Treasurer, Colleen Redpath-Feger. She's actually been investing the city's funds with a proven successful track record of positive returns for us taxpayers.
You can't say the same for Bill McCarty. As budget director, his experience has been scheming to tax and spend more of our hard-earned tax dollars.
Not to mention that under McCarty's leadership as budget director, the city has raised taxes and fees multiple times during the last 2 administrations.
We can't afford a tax and spender like Bill McCarty in the city treasurer's office.
Agreed. That's why I'm voting for Colleen Redpath-Feger. Her experience working in the city treasurer's office will guarantee continued positive returns for all of Springfield.
Learn more before you vote on April 4th.
This message is paid for and approved by Citizens for New Leadership.
jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, you've been hearing all morning long various updates about what could possibly happen with former President Donald Trump out of the courts in New York, where a district attorney up there is impaneling a grand jury, and they're possibly going to be voting on some kind of indictment today, dealing with allegations of impropriety when it comes to campaign finance and money that went to Stormy Daniels years ago, and could lead to the former president facing charges. While we heard the president over the weekend announce that he is expecting to be arrested Tuesday came and went, and there was no arrest. Is it going to happen today? Don't think that there is going to be an actual arrest today. However, there is expected to be some kind of announcement of possible indictment against former President Donald Trump. Want to hear your thoughts. 217-629-7970. Is this political, or should we, everybody is to be held to the same standard? Nobody's above the law, as some would say. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this purely political because Trump is considered the front runner for the 2024 presidential election, as you've got a contentious primary expected? How's this going to play into that? With Ron DeSantis not yet announced, but is he going to use this to his advantage? Are other candidates going to use this as something that says, look, Trump can't run, he's charged? Are Democrats going to be able to continue to say, see, we told you Trump is a bad person, he got charged with something, let alone if the charge is, simply a misdemeanor or just simply worth a fine rather than, a perp walk or having fingerprints or whatnot. Also, how is all this going to play out with the Secret Service having to take care of Trump? But there's another fascinating element in all of this, and it's the use of artificial intelligence and making pictures. This is absolutely frightening with how this is possibly going to be something we have to contend with in the future. We're already having to contend with it. You've heard, for years and years and years, even former President Trump calling things fake news. Oh, it's fake news this, fake news that. Well, artificial intelligence and computer-generated photographs, I shouldn't call them photographs because they're not really photographs. They're computer-generated graphics. It's CG. But these computer-generated graphics are getting more and more refined to where an untrained eye is going to have a difficult time finding out if indeed these pictures are real or not. And that's exactly what we're looking at here with fake AI-generated photos of Trump being arrested going viral. And if you click through, you can see, these are fake-generated photos of Trump running away from police officers, running down the street. Again, fake. Another one of Trump seeming to resist arrests with police all around it. Fake. Another one with him being corralled and linked arms with other police. Again, fake. But to an untrained person, that's going to look pretty real. And how are we going to combat against that? So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. You can always email me, bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air. But the best way to do it Live and local is 217-629-7970. That's the phone number, 217-629-7970, where you can chime in and let us know your thoughts on the whole circumstance here. Listen, we've had a lot of other instances of bad acts from presidents, including payoffs. Clinton, he gave one accuser hundreds of thousands of dollars. You've got the impropriety of other politicians that may have been involved in some shady business dealings, and it's a different level though when you get to presidents with the Justice Department and the political prosecutors looking to somehow go after their political opponents or to make a name for themselves. Alvin Bragg out of New York, nobody's ever heard his name before except in New York. Now everybody knows his name. He's the prosecutor that could uphold a campaign promise of holding Donald Trump accountable and going after Donald Trump. But what will this do into the future for our constitutional republic? And is this an abuse of the justice system? If indeed Trump gets indicted today and has to go through and be processed in New York, all indication is he's not going to serve any jail time. You've got this prosecutor as well being criticized roundly for being soft on certain crimes, low-level misdemeanors and property damage crimes, and even some low-level violent crimes. You've got the people criticizing this prosecutor for kind of looking the other way on those things, but when it comes to Donald Trump, then it's everything's throw the book at him, right? Give him the stiffest penalty and the stiffest sentence possible, and make him do the perp walk and all of that. No, he is going to have to stay behind bars pending trial. Now, it's fascinating to see the double standard there, and people do have serious concerns with that. So if we see this move forward, how do you feel that that's going to impact our body politic? With barricades already being put up in New York and the ongoing questions of what kind of protests this could lead to on both sides. Will those sides clash? I think this is a very tumultuous waters that we're entering, and I don't know if people necessarily understand the true implications of it all. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. We'll go right to the phones. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yeah, I think that anybody that says it's political is just kind of like ignoring reality. If it was political, all the lawsuits that he's gone through, you would see, Democrats always saying he did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. But if you look at the real history, like of him in the courts, all the Republicans that he goes before, or the majority of them, they are also saying, no, he did wrong, there was nothing here. So to say that this time it's political when all the other times have been proven not to be political, I think is just silly.
So you're saying essentially that this is not political and that the former president should be charged and go through the booking process and all of that.
Correct. And even if you want to go so far and say, the DA is doing it political, this grand jury, they're not all Democrats, I'm sure.
I don't know. Fly. In the Southern District of Illinois, where Trump lost by like 80%, just throwing that out there. I don't know if they found a bipartisan grand jury, and I don't think that that's necessarily a consideration. But you're essentially saying, charge him up.
Well, I'm just saying I think that the law should run its course, and I think anybody that says this is political is not for the rule of law.
Got you down. All right, 217-629-7970 is the phone number. If anybody else has a different take, would love to hear it. Again, 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com. Again, bishoponair@gmail.com. Let's see if there's any comments coming in via social media. All right. No, I don't have Hotmail. Somebody asking if I have Hotmail. Actually, I do have a Hotmail account. I'm pretty sure it's defunct, though. Bishoponair@gmail.com is how you can get a hold of me, or you can call in live and local right now at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. You can also message me on Twitter. Just search Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way as well. All right, so make it happen, and we'll likely be talking about this again in the very near future, as expecting to hear something drop today. Mike on YouTube says political persecution. That's what it is, he says. All right, and whatever happened to the weeks, months, and years of, all right, talking about Russia collusion. Yeah, all the talking heads talking about Russian collusion. It's pretty fascinating. All right, one last call here, 217-629-7970. Good morning, you're on WMAY.
Good morning. Hey, all I got to do, I just put my 2 cents worth in here. That guy that just really called in and said that this is not political. Everything about Trump is that they don't want him to be able to run for president again. And so they're going to try everything under the sun to try to make it sure that he can't run. It's all political. Anybody that doesn't think that this is all political is stupid.
Well, do you think if Trump is held accountable for payments he made to Stormy Daniels, should Hillary Clinton be arrested and charged for funding the Steele dossier that was, filtered and laundered through the FBI to lead to fraudulent spy campaign against the former president? I mean, so should we have equal justice here?
Exactly. No, it is. There's nothing equal about it. Nothing. There wasn't anything equal about it for the last election. I'm hoping that they don't pull it off again on the next election. Time's going to tell, but they definitely do not want Trump to run. I think that if they try to pull it off again and Trump loses again, I think that they're really going to be afraid of some really bad riots.
Well, I appreciate the call. I hope that we don't have any kind of political violence, and that's something we have to be sure to push back against and to dissuade in any way possible. But, when you start seeing alleged abuses of the justice system, it can lead to some unsavory actions across the board. We'll take one last call here real quick. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning. Yeah, it's definitely political because they said so. They said that they're going to try anything they can to get Trump arrested, to find something on him. They want the bad narrative. But here's the kicker. What about when the Joe Biden stuff comes out? Are these people really going to be this tough on Joe Biden and all the money laundering that could be going on there? So it'll be interesting to tell. But I hope all these people that are excited now about Trump are just as excited when the Bidens hit. Yeah, I mean, you'd think that if they're going to be this upset and this much looking for blood, so to speak, that they're willing to have a presidential campaign essentially derailed through the justice system. What about President Biden and all the allegations there are about his son and business dealings with foreign governments and so on? I think it's an interesting point. We'll hold our breath and watch. Let's see here. No more talk on Biden's discovered classified top secret documents. So you've got that in the mix as well. The DA campaigned on getting Trump, somebody else says. So obviously people are pretty active there on social media commenting. All right, we'll have to talk about this again in the near future. Greatly appreciate everyone chiming in. But we got to take a break on WMAY. It's now 8:23 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions. And did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield. Where do you go when you want to get in shape? The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. High quality exercise equipment for your home. The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, the Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. 787-9930. The Body Quest Store, the Body Quest Store. The quest for the healthier you begins at the Body Quest Store. 3120 Montvale Drive, Springfield.
John, do you remember what you were doing, say, about 10 years ago?
About as good as recalling what happened last week.
Right. Well, if you purchase, say, a dishwasher at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World 9 years and 364 days ago, it'd still be covered.
By the famous 10-year protection plan, of course.
Well, it's included with most purchases at Dick Van Dyke. And according to one Google reviewer, they still had unmatched prices and helpful people who delivered and set up the appliances without hassle.
The review mentions that they shopped around, did the comparison, and still found the best value at Dick Van Dyke.
So can you really not recall what you did last week?
Can you?
Now that I think of it, not really.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases, and we still beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
No taxes. No tax on Max Life mattresses. No tax on Arctic Breeze mattresses. No tax on all Bemco mattress sets. All month long, Just Beds will pay your sales tax on the entire Bemco product line in the store, even sale items. That Bemco mattress set you want, no tax. Max Life, Chatham & Weld, Arctic Breeze, or Arctic Life mattress, no tax. All Bemco, all month, no tax. As always, free delivery setup in Holloway. See the Onyx Terminators at Just Beds on Montvale in Springfield.
Just Beds.
Hi, this is Judy. As a real Springfield resident and voter, I am disgusted with the latest false and misleading attack on City Treasurer candidate Bill McCarty. To make matters worse, his opponent is hiding behind a shady political action committee to do the dirty work. Do they really think Springfield voters are that dumb? Us voters know only city council members can raise taxes. Voters also know, as city budget director, Bill McCarty helped lead the effort to bring the city back from virtual bankruptcy after the Great Recession. Back then, the city's reserves got all the way down to just $2.6 million. Today, after Bill's 12 years on the job, those reserves are a record $60 million. That sure doesn't sound like someone wasting our money. Don't fall for slimy Chicago-style politics. Vote for the only candidate with the knowledge and experience to take the city treasurer's office to a whole new level. On April 4th, remember to bank on Bill McCarty for city treasurer.
Paid for by Citizens for McCarty.
Did you know Shields does golf fittings year-round by our golf experts? Whether you're looking to improve your distance, accuracy, or just wanting a confidence boost, your local Shields has a fitting bay with experts ready to get you custom fit in the latest and greatest products from all the top vendors. Plus, Titleist and Callaway's new lines of 2023 clubs are here. Call your local store or stop in to speak with a golf expert today. Make this season your best by getting your own custom fitting at Shields.
The shortest distance between you and a Head West sub is now through the new in-store kiosks.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a Head West brownie today. Yeah!
Anxiety. There's plenty of it to go around for just about everyone these days, but the question is, how are you dealing with it? Anxiety can make things difficult. If you find yourself reaching for drugs or alcohol as the solution, chances are your anxiety has gotten out of control. It's time to pick up the phone and call Gateway Foundation. You'll talk with someone who holds the strictest confidentiality so that you can open up and learn about treatment options. Our team of professional counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, and physicians have a long history of helping people like you get back on track. During the healing process, you'll find that there is nothing to be ashamed of. Calling Gateway Foundation is that important first step towards getting away from the self-medication of alcohol and other substances and on the road towards safe, rewarding, and sustainable recovery. Call Gateway Foundation at 877-505-HOPE for a free, private, confidential screening. Gateway Foundation, addiction medicine saving lives.
Got a tax refund coming? Put those hard-earned funds to work for you. Earmark a few bucks for a nice laptop at BLH Computers. Whether you're upgrading or replacing, it comes with the exclusive BLH guarantee. That means you're prepared for the many tax seasons to come. Clear off the desk and bring the old unit for safe recycling too. Visit BLH Computers in Jacksonville, Taylorville, and Springfield, and always online at blhcomputers.com.
All right, go vote. WMAY.com asks you about what you want to see downtown Springfield. Should there be more residential, more retail, more nightlife, more historic preservation, more parking? Surprised there's not gambling as an option. Either way, more retail seems to be leading. Go vote at WMAY.com.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, let's go ahead and get on into it. It's time for Business in the 217. Michelle Ownby, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. She joins us to go through the top business news from in and around the area. Michelle, let's go right ahead and talk about the taco joints. They're moving?
They are, but not very far. And this is one that's been pretty easy to keep an eye on because it's right by our office. But if you've driven by the old Rallies on South Grand lately, they're at 8th and South Grand, you might notice it's looking a little bit more colorful. It got boarded up last summer after Rallies closed suddenly. I didn't realize they'd been there about 30 years, since 1989 in that location. But they did not renew their lease last summer, and the property was boarded up and abandoned. And now some brightly colored stripes have appeared on it. You see construction guys working over there, and that is going to be the new location from the taco joint, which is currently just down the street at 2nd and South Grand. But I had a chance to chat with owner Hector Lopez yesterday, and he said he's not just relocating the taco joint, he's also going to launch the burger joint there at 2nd and South Grand in the current location. So he's still working on finalizing the menu for the new venture, but as the name implies, there will be burgers. He said probably wings as well. But right now he's just focusing on getting the taco joint up and running and hopes to have that open by late April or May 1st at the latest.
Well, and that really is a great spot as well. Plus just the convenience of the building and the drive-through and so on. So interesting to see that happen. And of course, Business in the 217. I can't not talk about some buildings that are vacant and maybe some repurposing of buildings. What's going on with the former Shop and Save building off of North Grand?
Yeah, so this is a very exciting project, and tomorrow there's going to be an open house if you want to get a sneak peek at the work that's taken place. You may recall that Medics First purchased that former Shop and Save there at 2nd and North Grand, and they have been extensively remodeling it. They are going to make that their headquarters, and they're having an open house and a ribbon cutting tomorrow starting at 4. They're also leasing about 10,000 square feet of that space to Memorial, who's going to, they've worked out a deal with the nursing college from Illinois State University in Bloomington, and there will be a class starting up this fall. But again, good way to get a sneak peek at the work that's taken place. And the Chamber of Commerce is also holding one of their after hours, their Chamber on Tap mixer event immediately following the ribbon cutting. So stop by and have some refreshments and take a tour of the place.
Of course, we'll keep posted on what's going on with that and other issues with the Springfield Business Journal. Michelle Ownby, the publisher, joining us. Michelle, how can people get their hands on the SBJ?
Well, you can go to springfieldbusinessjournal.com and sign up for Biz Bites. That's our weekly newsletter that comes out every Wednesday afternoon with a roundup of what's happening. And, of course, you can also sign up to get the full-blown print edition delivered directly to your home or office.
Before we talk about Pony Shoe Week, let's talk about one other issue here, and that is convenience and coffee. I'm a big fan of both. And Scooter's Coffee seems to be somehow popping up all over the place with convenient ways to get some coffee. What's going on?
Yes, well, there are a lot of new coffee shops popping up all over town, period. But, yes, Scooter's in particular is on a roll. It's only been 3 months since they opened their first Springfield location out there on Clear Lake. And this Friday, they're having the soft opening for their second Springfield location on Wabash Avenue. They're in an outlot of the Chatham Square Shopping Center. And the franchisees, Marcus and Lauren McGlasson, actually opened their first Scooters location in Taylorville in 2021, but now they've got these 2 different Springfield locations. They've also got some in the works in Indiana. So they've got a lot going on, but talked with Lauren the other day. She said that their first Springfield spot there on Clear Lake has done very well. They serve breakfast all day, which is really popular. And so she said no changes are planned. They're just replicating the model for the Wabash store. So this Friday is the soft opening for that with a ribbon cutting and grand opening planned for April 7th.
Michelle Ownby, Springfield Business Journal, your sister publication, the Illinois Times, and 217 Food Week, moving forward with Pony Shoe Week. Tell us about this.
Yes, this is going on now, continues through March 26th, and Pony Shoe Week is probably right up there with Burger Week in terms of popularity. We've got 10 different local restaurants offering their own off-menu items, and some of them have gotten pretty creative. We've got everything from a surf and turf pony shoe to a taco pony, southern spicy barbecue, and if you really want to mix it up, there's a breakfast pony, and Scoop du Jour is even offering an ice cream pony. And that does not come with hamburger and meat, just to clarify. That comes with cake, donuts, whipped cream, and, of course, the ice cream topping. So pretty awesome.
Oh, my gosh. So 217 Food Week, people can look at more. Oh, my gosh. I'm so hungry right now. That just looks delicious. Surf and turf. That sounds incredible. All right, so Michelle Ownby, greatly appreciate your time as always. It's Business in the 217 with the Springfield Business Journal. Greatly appreciate it. We'll talk again next week, all right?
All right. Thanks, Greg.
It is Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. I got to get out of here. Better full disclosures coming up next with the Better Government Association and Jim Leach at 8:34.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, a Virginia man who assaulted police trying to defend the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, has been sentenced to more than 4 years in prison. Jeffrey Sills was convicted of assault with a dangerous weapon, obstruction of Congress, and robbery. Prosecutors say Sills threw several pole-like objects at police, stole a police baton from an officer, and used that baton to repeatedly strike